Of racial hatred. It's being shown on stations across the country. Can you believe it? And it's almost unstoppable. Television burning. That's next. And also, we'll get ballpark. Now we're all sitting at home and the television is on. Nothing unusual until the screen is filled with real anger, real hate, and some real words that we wouldn't want to hear anyway. Our David Lee Miller takes us inside the shocking world of hate TV.
You've seen Geraldo, you've seen Morton Downey Jr., but you ain't seen nothing until you've seen Race and Reason.
It's a provable fact that everybody who has every white person who has sexual relations with Negroids is going to catch AIDS.
A former Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, and today the leader of the white Aryan resistance movement, Tom Metzger has become the self-styled Johnny Carson of hate TV.
What's your main thrust, say, at the moment? What's the biggest issues?
The biggest issue right now is the Jews having control of everything in the United States. You got your capitalist Jews, and then you got your Orthodox Jews, and then you got your communist Jews.
For the last 7 years, his shocking talk show has been airing on 25 cable public access channels nationwide. According to broadcast surveys, this program of prejudice can reach as many as 10 million viewers a week.
People call me racist, bigot, anti-Semitic. All I hope is, and it seems like I'm doing the job, is getting a lot of information out there, and old Joe Sixpack sitting out there maybe on Friday night tuning that in and sitting there having a beer and saying, man, I never knew there was any TV on like this. Finally, somebody's speaking up for me.
Tom Metzger's hate headquarters are located in Fallbrook, California, a town residents have dubbed, ironically, the Friendly Village.
How's that clunker coming? Oh, it's coming all right.
Metzger may not be the town's model citizen, but he does run the local TV repair shop.
The feeling of fighting for whites is on the rise. White backlash, and whites saying, hey, I'm not going to feel guilty anymore. I'm sick and tired of being told every day that I'm guilty of something when I'm having as much trouble making a living as anyone else.
Along with son John, who helped spark the Geraldo slugfest, Metzger struggles to achieve his goal of a white supremacist nation. To spread the message of bigotry, hatred, and violence, they produce the Race and Reason show and publish a bi-monthly newspaper called War.
I don't have enemies, I only have obstacles. And so if we can solve the problem for white people without hurting other people, fine. But if black people or anyone else, including, number one, the white degenerates of our own race, get in our way, we're going to go over them like a steamroller as time goes on.
Until recently, Metzger's plot to exploit public access channels, which by law grant total freedom of speech, was a success. Then Kansas City said, no way, we won't play. Led by Kansas City's fiery Mayor Pro Tem, Reverend Emanuel Cleaver, the city council banned the Klan from the air. And to keep it off, the city council eliminated the public access channel from the cable dial.
I almost threw up when I first saw that program. He is a very, very dangerous man. And the more homes, the more television sets that he is allowed to show his face on, the more he will be able to recruit people to his warped theology of life.
J. Allen Moran and Steve disagree. As high-ranking members of the Missouri White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, they insist their right to freedom of speech has been violated. They are suing Kansas City to get this half hour of hate on the air.
You know, it was going to be a vehicle for everybody that agrees, you know, that the government is doing us wrong, and people to speak out, because right now they're unable to speak out on the Jew-controlled media that we have that's pumping us full of garbage every day.
The American Civil Liberties Union is sponsoring the Klan's lawsuit.
As soon as you start giving the authority to decide who has access to a public forum to a government agency like the Kansas City, Missouri City Council, I think then you've given away the First Amendment.
I think the ACLU is in fact helping to put in place a kind of hatred that will taint the 21st century in this country.
To broadcast or not to broadcast continues to plague Kansas City. Come this summer, the court will decide if there's a reason to run this racist propaganda.
I'm just hoping that we win, because if we don't, freedom of speech among radical people of radical persuasion and ideas, when you put that lid on those people and the pot begins to boil, sometimes it blows up. And you're much better off to have us on TV than out in the street with a gun.
But if you're going to be on there, we can expose you. Now then, the happy hooker Xavier Hollander is back in the big city after an exile in Europe. The years haven't slowed her down, though.